Perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, have you been out shopping today or doing anything?
No, my sister asked me to take her to Milton Keynes and I looked at her, I was like, absolutely not. Whatever. Yeah. I was like, not a chance in hell am I going out today. I was like, I did my Christmas shopping in 2 days because I was not going out today. But I need to go and find a pharmacy that's open. And I was looking around Stocksley at the minute as I was driving up and I was like, there is nothing here open looking.
Is it seriously? There's nothing open around it? Have you gone to town today?
No, yeah, I'm going to have to brave it and I don't really want to.
Yeah, no, I've been in town and do you know what? It's not actually that bad.
Is it not?
No, I mean, in the mall, it's bad, but outside, it doesn't look like...
I just need
it's really hard to tell, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the mall, but I don't know how busy it is. I wasn't like... I was there today just with the bucket. Like,
yeah.
Just over there. We're actually rolling, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I always do this to people. I like to just mess with them, just like, let's...
Well, to be honest, I'm so used to it anyway, because obviously, like, we work in the newsroom and it's constant.
Yeah, I bet you just don't even see the camera.
So you, like, I'm eating and I'm like, I'm eating on national television right now. I don't really think about it. I literally came in the other day, Ross Atkins, because he does it up the top.
Yeah.
And I was coming down the stairs that are behind it where they film. And I'm literally carrying like McDonald's massive bag of like takeaway food and McDonald's milkshake.
Yeah.
Walking down the stairs, look over, see I'm on TV and I'm like, I look like
Oh no, that's amazing. That's seriously amazing. I mean, like I've kind of followed you for a bit, since probably like pandemic sort of time. I started like following you on Twitter and stuff. That's my personal account. And I know, right? I know, but you wouldn't know because that account's gone now. So it's vanished. And I didn't like tweet or anything from it anyway. Yeah. I just used to like just read stuff. But
I haven't got a clue who you are, which is the worst part. I'm like, I really want to know, but at the same time I don't, because it's like the added mystery of who you are.
Mystery's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mystery's great. But yeah, like there's a lot of people because it's really weird. My kind of thought pattern changed like around sort of 2019, and I started thinking like a lot differently about my life and about what I want and what makes me happy, and I realized like I was looking on my phone on Twitter and like I was on Facebook and stuff, and just everything was just like football or like. Do you know what I mean? Just stupid jokes, like, and like it's funny, I still look at that stuff now. Like, I'm not like not interested in football.
No, but I'd be quite surprised if you weren't.
yeah, I'm a massive football fan. But the thing is, all of my time was occupied by those things, right? And I just realised that like I just don't want to be like that's the only thing that I do. I want to know more about the world, and I want to experience more, and I want to read more. And then like I started like I was like, I want to know more about my area. I didn't really like know much about Luton really, and I just sort of lived here and like I hated it most of the time. Do you know what I mean? And I really didn't give Luton its due. And
everyone goes through that phase, though. I think here. I think you have to go through. If you're going to live here for as long as you do, you have to go through that phase of hating the place and thinking, God, I want to get out. And now. I haven't been here for 3 years and I'm desperate. I'm literally looking for houses daily.
Yeah, you have to come back.
I know, I'm desperate to come back. I had to move for personal reasons and I hate where I am now because I'm near Watford. And no, please.
Ew.
I know.
I wish you would have told me that when I hugged you. The proximity of being that close to Watford, like, man, we need to have conversations.
We need to have conversations, but I'm coming back. Don't worry, Luton is always home.
Yeah, Luton's wicked, man. Yeah. Luton's wicked. But yeah, no, like at this sort of time when I started looking into Luton, I started to think about, well, I want to follow people that are from Luton and that are interesting people, and like you're kind of part of that list, like of people who I was like, oh, this is like quite an interesting person, and as time's gone on, I've like I've looked at your Twitter page and like I've seen the stuff that you've been reporting on, and I've just kind of followed you a bit, and then you've got to the BBC, which is just like
I'm still shocked at that.
Insane.
It is insane. It drives me mad. It is insane. It's a weird place to work.
Yeah.
If you've ever watched W18, it's a very old series that they did about the BBC, and it was supposed to be like satire. It isn't. It's satire. It is actually very accurate of what the BBC is like. Really? It's just complete bullshit sometimes. And honestly, it's so frustrating. You're like, oh, this is really accurate of what it is, but it is. But it's an amazing place to work, and there's actually a lot of people from Luton there,
Really?
which is surprising. But people just don't realise. But they're in the background, so there's quite a lot of. There's a reporter, and her name has gone from my head now. It's completely gone. And there's Georgia Cohen as well. She's like a massive podcast producer for the BBC, but she's from Luton as well. So there's quite a few of us there.
That's really good. That's really good.
And at Channel 4 as well, like a lot of the big people at Channel 4 are from Luton. So
no way.
People don't realise that all these people in the background that are running TV are actually from here.
Why are they not here helping us then?
I don't know. I don't know. Because
think about it, yeah. Like most of the stories that we get about us are really negative, isn't it? Like, and there's good reason for that because there are bad things that happen here. But then there's like really beautiful things that happen here, and it doesn't get paid any attention to.
I think the biggest problem, particularly now, Reach did help. When we were at Bedfordshire Live, there was me and a few other people there as well. We were really trying because they didn't really have any reporters from Luton, and suddenly they had like 2 reporters from Luton. So Luton started getting a bit of a better rep there. And I think it's now pushed Luton Today. Luton Today seems to be reporting a lot more stuff, and it's great to see because now Bedfordshire Live's taken a step back because neither of us are there now, and they've got one guy covering the whole county, which I won't go into that. I won't go into that. It is too much work for him, bless him. But it's great to see that like Luton Today is doing a lot more, and it's great to see. But I really think there needs to be a lot more done about the positive stuff in Luton because there's a massive lack. Like our schools are getting so much better now since. Yeah,
I know, right? Like, and the community side of school in Luton is the biggest part of it.
I think the Chiltern Learning Trust, like I am a parent of the school, so therefore I will big them up a bit. But they have really helped this like. A lot of Luton schools get back to where they should be. Like a lot of schools around here.
I mean, just down the road, Puttridge, man.
Yeah, Puttridge is an amazing school.
Yeah, my kid goes Puttridge. Yeah, oh really? What year?
9.
Oh, okay. No. Different years. Yeah, different years.
But but yeah, no, it's a really good school, and I think they've done a lot for the community as well. Like a lot of the Bedfordshire schools are now improving and joining the trust, and Lee Manor, I think, is going to come on massively because they've gone through a really rough patch, and I think now they're part of this trust is going to do wonders for
because
them.
What they're doing at the trust, like just they're completely changing the way things are being done for schools in Luton. I'm loving seeing this.
No, they've got some really like good people across like a really diverse range of backgrounds as well. It's not like, because I think it's easy in Luton to very much be like, because it's like a very diverse town that only certain people from certain backgrounds get involved in schools. And it's like, no, everyone's like here and getting involved. And that's what I love about this town. I think it does. We've had rough patches, obviously, when he who shall not be named was around and causing mayhem in this place. But I think this town really shows how diversity can work in the UK if we actually all get along, because we do. Yeah. And it's so incredible to see here, and that's what I think is the biggest selling point of this town, and why I love it so much is because everything works together and everyone works together. It doesn't matter what community you're from. Yeah. Everyone's willing to work and make things happen, and it's great to see. Like even like the first Pride in Luton, amazing.
Oh, yeah. I missed it.
You missed it. I only went for like half an hour or so, but I know Scott Griffwood and his husband Paul. Yeah. Put in so much effort to that. They did an amazing job, and hats off to them. Like I know it was other people involved as well, but the idea of putting that together. Yeah, no, he's such a big part of it. I mean, I went to the tea party that they had. Yeah, was there a tea party? I can't remember. We was playing Pin the Rudolph Nose on the Rudolph. Yeah. I guess. I don't know if that's what it was called. That's probably not the name of the game, yeah? But if we was doing something kind of like Pin the Tail on Donkey, I don't know. I don't really know what I went to. It was just really fun. It was just really, really fun. No. And the people that put Pride on, and just the people within that community are so nice and friendly, and like I just had a great time talking to everybody, and the Beds Cohesion Unit came down as well from the police. Yeah, like, I mean they've been awesome as well. Yeah, I'd have to give Bedfordshire Police their dues for what they have to deal with, because I live in Hertfordshire and they are overfunded, and there's way too many police officers there for what they have, like crime wise, and what Bedfordshire Police do. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of the police, don't get me wrong, they've made mistakes for me as well and stuff like that, but what they do for this like community, given like what's happening here and what happens elsewhere in Bedfordshire as well. They do their best with what they have.
Yeah, exactly. No, I totally agree. I totally
like
agree.
they have the same sort of problems like the Met and Greater Manchester Police, who have way more funding and way more officers to deal with. Plus they've got an airport to police as well and things like that. It's like insane what they do on such a small budget. And the new Chief Constable Trevor Brockhurst, I want to say off the top of my head. Broganhurst.
Yeah,
I've met him. He's really great guy.
Is he?
He's so knowledgeable, and I think he's really going to just elevate them up to that next level that they need to be. No, I'm not usually impressed by police officers, but he did impress me. And Vero as well. They do some really incredible work. Kimberly,
Kimberly Very,
she is.
She's very cool.
I've met her. She goes, I don't normally talk to journalists, but one of the press officers at Bedford Police said she is worth talking to, and so she goes, I normally wouldn't, but I will talk to you.
Do you know what? I know for a fact, I've met Kimberly a handful of times, but do you know what? She's so good because she's such a quiet person, really.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't really, like when I see her on Twitter and stuff, like, I expect to see her and to be like, I don't know, like to instantly spot her right away. But she's very quiet and doesn't really like want to show off too much. Do you know what I mean?
No, she's
such a humble person.
Yeah.
Whenever I've been in situations, I have to physically like get within face distance with people to recognise them, right?
Yeah.
Or unless I hear their voice, then I know who it is because it's so hard to see. You would not believe.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
But with her, I have to physically go and seek her out. Otherwise, I won't find her at an event.
Because
she's just, she doesn't want to take centre stage or anything, but she's so passionate about everything she believes in.
And she does the whole team do such an incredible job for this town. People. And even for Bedfordshire as well, because like we always forget, but there's other parts of this county that are still got their own issues. Like Bedford's not doing great at the minute, I wouldn't say. Yeah. It's going for its looting phase. But, they do some incredible work, and there are people here that are doing some amazing work. I feel like they do get forgotten about, and it's really, like, I wish I could have written about it more at Reach, but it's very hard because when you're working for media companies, they're more concerned about hits on a website sometimes than they are the story. Yeah. So sometimes you'll be like, this is a really great story for the town, but it's not going to be, people are not going to be clicking on it because some people are not always into the positive stuff as much.
That's a weird thing. Like I always think about that. Is it the media's fault that most of the stories are negative, or is it because that's what people yearn for?
I think it's particularly like crime. People always nosy. People are nosy people by everyone's nosy by nature. Just journalists are more nosy than others. I think it's just how we are. But I think people are more concerned about, especially with social media these days. Like you said, when you were on social media beforehand, when you see, it was literally just memes and football, and it shows how the algorithm works. Once you get into a certain pattern, that's all you see.
You have to physically seek it out.
Yeah.
You have to decide, I want to see good things. And then, my timeline on Twitter now is just positive shit. Like that all the time. Yeah. Everything is like a charity person doing this. Like, it's just, and that's because the algorithm recognizes that that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So, I know people like to demonize things like social media, but it's actually more like you should be more responsible with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
no,
because
definitely.
If we was all a bit more responsible, have your jokes, but don't sit there for 4 hours on TikTok watching shit videos, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe feed your mind a little bit. Give it something to actually chew on that makes sense and maybe can help to change things. Because if you're just sitting there just looking at stuff that doesn't really matter whilst the world's going on around you, there's going to be things that are going to start affecting you that you're not paying attention to.
Yeah.
And maybe if you start to pay attention to it, maybe you can do something about it. Even if it's like for instance, with me, I wanted to start raising money for Keach and raising awareness about mental health. And so I was like, man, mental health is in the toilet and maybe I can do something about it. Maybe if I just talk about it, maybe it helps someone.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to change the world, but I could maybe help someone.
Yeah.
And, by having them sort of thoughts, it's it helps to make a change for everybody. Do you know what I mean?
But I think that's what plays into the problem of why people's perception of Luton as well, because if you're only looking at Bed's police like Facebook page half the time, yeah, you're probably going to think Luton's not that great. But yeah, there is a lot of positive things going on here. It's just you have to look beyond what's happening. I know we're all like nosy and we want to know why is there like 5 police cars in, you know, Dunwood Green Road right now, you know, whatever. But you know, if you don't look for these things, if you don't look for the positive in life, you're never gonna see anything but the negative. And I think that's it's a really hard thing to get out of, especially at the minute. I'm struggling at the minute.
What do you do? What do you do? Like, what are you looking at?
What am I looking at the minute? I'm trying to read more world news and get an understanding, because obviously I want to move into more TV documentaries, and I would like to do some stuff like Unreported World and things like that. Which are more like showing stories that wouldn't normally get. Channel 4 is probably the only one that really does like the news right, where it kind of gets, you've got the right amount of UK news, but then you've got really unusual stories from elsewhere in the world that wouldn't really be reported by the BBC because it's just
to them it's irrelevant.
They've got it's a whole new thing, right? Because they're merging in April. The BBC World and BBC News channel are merging. Not a lot of people know this. It's not a new thing. It has been reported on, but not people know it. So it's going to change completely, because there's only going to be one channel and they have 2 very different audiences. So if you can, please sign the petition to not make this happen, because it's actually a really bad idea. But they have, because they have 2 completely different audiences. People, you know, people watching from France, America, they don't want to hear about, you know, strikes in the UK because it's irrelevant to them. It doesn't affect them. And, you know, people in the UK probably don't want to know what's going on in the US Senate today. But it's relevant to BBC World viewers because it's relevant to the rest of the world. It's just like, it's not going to work, and it really aggravates me, but it's all about saving money as opposed to doing what's right. And it's just...
Isn't that like kind of just what all of these bigger places are doing now? They're kind of like forgetting about the thing that built them, and now they're focusing on the thing that's making them the most money.
Look East. It's gone now. There's no Look East West. It's all done in Norwich. There's no Cambridge side to it. It's so frustrating.
I just think that you know, this is like almost a natural thing, because what it's doing is it's opening a doorway for people like I see it like people like yourself, right? I would like to imagine that there would be a time in the future when, because I've like read your stuff and I listened to the thing you got silver award for the smuggling thing.
My people smuggling radio documentary.
Amazing.
Thank you.
No, seriously, it was so good. You speak so well.
I it's weird because when I've got like a radio mic in front of me, I like sound completely different. I don't sound like I come from Luton.
You didn't sound like you're from Luton at all.
No, I know.
No, I was like, you sounded
this is how I normally
sound. But to be fair, like, it doesn't matter how you sound. In terms of like the actual sound of your voice, it's like what the words you were saying. That's the more meaningful like thing. Your choice of words and how you get the information into my head. It was just beautiful.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's such
something that I just didn't realise like it happens, and you know the fact that you've had it happen with yourself. I was like, how, like, as I'm listening to you talk, I'm just trying to figure out like how could this happen with me, like, and I was like, well, and then as you explain what happened, totally could happen with anybody.
It can.
It really could.
I think it's really people's perception of like, oh, well, I'm just such a good person, I'd never get involved in anything like that. And it's like, but it's so easy because you don't realise the manipulation is going on sometimes. And it's not always manipulation, but I think there is a certain level of it. And people don't understand, like, when, especially in the minute with all the press about Albanians, they don't understand what it's like there. I was literally looking at journalism jobs over there, right? For what I get paid, 30k at the BBC, just under 30k, right? So for the equivalent in Albania, it's about £300 a month for doing my job. And that's like a top-end journalist.
No way.
And that's like, you've got to think, I was in Albania in October and I bought a full litre of 50 litres of diesel in a car, and it was 70 quid. So the prices aren't that much different there.
They're not different, but you get paid so much less.
Get paid so much less, and it's the most beautiful country ever. If they paid so much more, I would not be here.
Really, do you really love Albania?
I love it. It's such a beautiful country.
Well, can we you know what we're talking like? Because I know this stuff, so I don't need you to say like too many specifics. But obviously, there's people out there that will not know what the hell we're talking about. So let's rewind, back to like what it was that happened with you, if you don't mind. Obviously, if you don't want to talk about it, it's cool. I will talk about it.
So basically, a few people know this, but basically, I accidentally got involved in people smuggling.
Accidentally got involved in people. That is the craziest sentence.
It's the only way to like describe it. But basically, I was talking. My ex was from Albania, and we didn't have a kid together at the time, but it was just like I'd come out of my marriage. I wasn't in the best place mentally, and I should have been single. I should have stayed single, and I've learned that now. Stay single. But I wasn't, and in all fairness, it's not all his fault because I made the decision to still do it anyway. And get involved. But it was kind of like, oh, you'd be making these people's lives so much better. And the reality is, it probably would have, because they've still got family back home that are poor, and like people live in real poverty there. Like we don't know real poverty. It's like it's hard to believe when you go there that it's Europe still, because it's like, this is really poor. Like we don't know poor sometimes. And so I got asked to bring 2 people over. I got caught. I went to prison.
Silly girl.
Silly girl. But
do you know what though? Like, just for the record, like when I heard when you said that you was involved in that, instantly my mind goes to boats.
Yeah, because
that's because that's what's being reported. And that's all that you really think about and associate. But what you did was essentially 2 blokes got in the boot of a car and you just tried to drive them over here, right? Like for me, I know that I'm a lot. Is that lean? Oh my god!
The tripod's a bit drunk.
The tripod is.
He's had a few, and
do you know what?
It's Christmas.
We're just gonna
let the tripod.
I feel like it's gonna fall. There we go. Just that's gonna make it fall more. That's making it fall more.
You know what? Put it underneath, maybe, so it can balance a bit better. There we go. That's straight now.
Did I do it? Yeah, I did. Oh, that's amazing.
Don't trip over the chair. Tripod down.
Oh my god.
But I think
let's carry on. Yeah.
The thing is that nowadays it is a common thing because it's become so difficult. But back in the day, people were coming in lorries, and people don't know. Like even in Luton, there's a lot of illegal immigrants here. People don't realise because they just blend into the background. They're not doing any harm. They work. Like even my ex, when he was working, he had a national insurance number and he was paying taxes.
Yeah, so but he was an illegal immigrant.
He was an illegal immigrant.
How the hell? Oh my god, that's crazy.
So, like in reality, these people are just blended into the background. They're not claiming benefits because they can't.
Yeah.
Unless they have a national insurance number, but
and they're so demonised as well.
Yeah, and like they're just people. They don't they don't want to live here and claim all our money and never work. These people actually want to probably work more than most people. They'll work 7 days a week, because they're desperate to send money home to make their lives better back home. So that's all they want, really. They don't want to be far away from their family and never see them for years and years and years, because they can't just go back and visit. If someone's sick, you don't see them. You risk not being able to see your parents until they die, after they die. So it's a really hard thing, and I think now people, because everyone sees the boats and that's all they see, people think that's the only way. But it's been happening for generations. People have been coming here for decades illegally, and there was other ways before there, and now can't use. Really, I don't know. Maybe there are loads of people. I'm not really involved in that world anymore, so I couldn't say if people are still coming in via car. They could be, but I don't know.
Because I hear they don't really check coming over in cars.
They probably don't. I haven't driven out of the UK since that day. I haven't.
I'm guessing there's traumatic memories from that you experienced. You probably don't want to go anywhere near it.
Yeah, no.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. No, genuinely sounds horrible. Like when you explain like the moment when you knew that like you're caught. Oh my god, I felt the dread.
It's like it's a horrible feeling. I had a full-on panic attack. So I was like, "What the fuck now?"
Yeah.
And this was before, like, now if you get caught, you can face up to life in prison. At least then it was, you know, up to 8 years, but that's still a long time.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Now it's life. You know, these people are facing life. Yeah, they changed the law. It was in the nationality bill. I think it was the latest bill that they brought in. But yeah, they've changed it. It's now a life of offence. So
and do you know what as well? Like I've always, whenever I hear people talking negatively about people coming over here illegally, all I can ever think of is the stories that I've heard of people living in war-torn countries or living on the brink of poverty or in poverty or just, you know, having loved ones lost to disease. And then you've got this hope that there's a country that you can go to where you might be okay.
Yeah.
And it might be hard to get there, but, you know, you've got a chance at least. Like, I would take that. If I had my children in a place like that, that's the only thing I'm ever thinking to do.
Yeah.
I want to protect my children, you know, and why should they be any different?
We're blessed with We're blessed with a privilege that we'll never kind of understand because, you know, ultimately, there've been wars, but they've been far away. We've never experienced that. You know, you've got to look at Ukraine now, and you know, we've got no concept. Yeah, it's close, but it's still, you know, unless you've lived through like World War I and II, even then, you know, that was probably like a really scary time, and you've got to appreciate like kids got sent to the country to live, to keep them safe and things like that. You know, we have no concept now growing up in this day and age of what it's like to live in a war-torn place or live in, you know, there is poverty here. Let's not discount that there's real poverty in the UK as well. Even in Luton, there is real, genuine, horrific poverty. But there is, you know, certain, you know, there's things like food banks. They don't exist elsewhere. You know, we don't realise the privilege. Yeah, it sounds insane to say that a food bank is a privilege, but, you know, we do have these measures in place to try and make it a bit better. But it's not, you know, we still don't get it 100% right in this country, don't get me wrong. But we've got like great charities like Level Trust in Luton. They do some fantastic work. You know, that uniform shop in the mall has probably transformed so many kids' lives to mean that they get, you know, new uniform every year that fits nicely. And, you know,
because the cost of uniform is so much.
Talk about that. Yeah, it's crazy when you've got 3 of them as well.
Yeah. I've got 4.
Yeah.
I've got 4.
I'm so sorry.
I know. Oh, don't. Me and my wife, we talk about it all the time. We should have stopped. No, I'm joking. I love my children.
No, I love mine as well. They know that. They are
so much stress.
They are,
especially this time of the year. Oh my days, man! They're lovely. My kids are really nice. But like, it's just they're so nice that I just want to give them everything, and I know that I'm ultimately not going to be able to because you know, I don't come up from a family of wealth, and I'm not. I have enough to go live on and to sort of to make sure that they get like nice things and that. But you know, I've got my limits. And that's where the stress comes in. I think because you just want to do so much for them. You know what I mean? Yeah,
it's hard. It is really hard, but.
How many? So you got 3?
I've got 3.
Okay, cool. What ages?
So 13, 9, and 6.
Okay.
So they're getting a little bit older now.
Oh, bless.
It's a little bit stressful, but I mean, even the 13-year-old's not that. My 6-year-old has her moments. Very much the 6-year-old that's always the one that has her moments. But it's not too bad. But they really, like, I've got incredible kids. Like, considering they've been through, so even this year they've been through so much. You know. They've lost 2 like the oldest 2 have lost 2 grandparents in 2 months.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's not. Luckily, it's not all my. Well, it was my dad, and then I won't talk about who the other person was because I don't. It's not his business.
No, that's fine.
And I don't want to get in trouble with him when he sees this, which he inevitably will. But yeah, I mean, it's been a tough year for them, and I think they've still kind of gotten well with school. They do really well, like. Their head teacher and my middle one was like saying like she's incredible, like I'm really impressed with her, and it's just nice. Like I'm very lucky and very blessed to have the great children that I have, considering the stress that I put them under over the years.
Hey, we all do it. Do you know what? It's like I didn't realise until I was a parent myself that I was just my mum's training wheels.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was the first.
Yeah.
And
I was also the oldest as well.
Yeah, so you're like the practice run. Yeah. And it doesn't always go right. Yeah. Like and to be honest with you, you don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because as much as there are books that you can read and all of that stuff, that's not a guide on how to raise a child at all, because every child is so unique and different, and then they're growing up amongst you and you're different. So like nothing that you read is relevant about, you know, maybe stuff like, maybe you should send them to bed at 7 o'clock sort of time, like, you know, when they're really little and stuff, and make sure they get good night's sleep, and those sort of things are quite relevant. But then when it comes to like how to teach them morals and you know,
I still don't know.
Yeah, I still don't. I mean? It's really difficult. Like, and then not only that, like I've got a 14-year-old girl, right, and she's awesome. She's absolutely awesome. But then at the same time, she's a 14-year-old girl, and I'm a man, and it's really a difficult relationship at times, right? No. And then you just don't know if like I've spoken to other parents who've had teenage girls, and they say like, it's just a phase. Don't worry. They'll hate you for a few years, and then they're gonna love you when they're older. You just gotta ride it out and just be there for them all the time and not give up. And not obviously that's what I do, but it's just, you know. Yeah,
I had a very grumpy 13-year-old today, and I was like, I'm like, I'm going out now. See you later. I'll be back in an hour.
It's like, why can't you just be nice?
I can't give up the nicotine because of you. Can you all just get on? But yeah, no, in all fairness. Is
that leaning more? Oh my God.
The camera is, he's feeling the Christmas cheer.
Okay, this is ridiculous. I cannot believe this. I cannot believe it literally just broke. Okay, I think that's better. But
that's probably...
Oh my God. Amateur hour.
It's not.
Someone save me.
Have you seen some of my Facebook lives I had to do for Bedfordshire?
Really?
Honestly, it was because it was like stressful. I think it was like my second or third day, and there was a stabbing in Chapel Street. Yeah. They were like, go out and do a Facebook Live, and I was like, I have not a clue what I'm doing. Like, what do you want me to do? Well, I managed to just talk for 10 minutes. It sounded probably like I do apologise for any viewers that had to witness my first Facebook Live. It was interesting, but I got there in the end. I got through it. But yeah, it's honestly, when you're first doing it, because you're like, this actually matters this time. Like, it's not like uni where it's like if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. But suddenly you're actually like, if you make a mistake, you know, your editor's going to be annoyed at you. I can't muck up here. Oh, but God. It's not too bad. I think I've managed to get through. But yeah, it's.
Have you ever thought about doing like a Substack or something like that?
No, people keep saying to me I need to do things, and I'm like,
you should do a podcast and you should do a Substack.
Yeah, I think I need to,
because you are so interesting. And you've got a great mind, but like not only that, you really care as well.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And I can see that, and
it's the hardest part of this job, because I think it would be so much easier if I was one of these journalists that just wrote stories and that was it, and it didn't like affect me. But there's some stuff that, like, when I wrote about Carson Grimes, I felt that. I really felt that. Sitting in that courtroom was horrific, because I obviously heard a lot of stuff that I couldn't then report back.
Can we like just, you know, can you tell?
Oh, so they get it. So Carson Grimes was on 24 Hours in Police Custody. If you didn't watch it, it was a 2-part episode. Essentially, he was this guy from Luton who, for decades, was sexually abusing children, but he particularly targeted vulnerable children. So people that he knew their parents were going through a rough time, he particularly targeted them. People in children's homes, you know, kids in children's homes, and it was really horrific stuff. And the police, Bedfordshire police, even admitted in the episode, they were like, we've really screwed up here, because these kids were continually coming in and out of the police station, and they were like, they didn't understand why they weren't acting. They were acting the way they were, but I think, and they even reported it as well. Some of them, they said like, this is happening to me, and it just got ignored.
Really?
And I think it was really tragic, because it was seeing how like some of these people were talking about how it affected them personally and how like they'd ended up in the cycle of prison and, you know, abusing drugs, and it really ruined their life, because these were people that probably had really great potential and could have done so much more, and they probably still will. I think maybe hopefully like seeing the fact that he's now behind bars and he will die there because he got a life sentence, you know, I know everyone's like, oh, but he only got, I think it was 16 years minimum term, but the reality is he's a 60-year-old man in ill health. There's no way he's getting out. And not in a box, but you know, that's the best thing for him. I wouldn't normally give opinions, but that was the one thing. It really hit home. I was like, these people have been like through such, and biggest respect to Natalia, Natalia, who was one of his victims. She spoke out. She, you know, chose to sort of reveal her identity because you get lifetime anonymity.
Yeah.
And she spoke out about it, and it was really like, she was so heartfelt, and I think she really pushed everything forward and made sure that he kind of got the justice, that everyone got the justice that they deserved. But it was hard because I saw people, and I can't really talk about it, but I saw people and I was like, this is really tough.
Yeah.
You know, it's really like
it's one of the worst stories.
Yeah,
it's one of the worst stories.
Horrific. And then obviously as well, like I covered the stabbing outside Chorley of Pim's Ali, I think, off the top of my head. Sorry, I've had so much stuff going on in the last year. It's been a bit a crazy year.
Yeah,
and you know that really affected me as well, because like he was only 16 years old, 15 or 16 years old, and stabbed outside of school, and there was kids at school that witnessed that, and it was
I can't even imagine like for a child to be in that situation, to see that. I mean, there's, you know, it's a high school, there's kids from year 7 up, like
they're only like 11 years old. They shouldn't, and it was tough, and I managed to, with a bit of persuasion, to get the Section 45 lifted so that we could name the guy, because you know people in Luton knew who he were, and we weren't allowed to report it, and it was really frustrating.
Does that happen a lot?
I think so, because you know this community, everyone knows everyone in Luton, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because I probably do know you. I have probably met you a lot of times.
Maybe you have. Where did you go to school?
Harleton.
Oh, you was in Harleton. Okay.
I went to Luton Sixth Form College though.
How old are you?
33.
33. Oh, okay.
I probably do know you.
Maybe.
We may have met on the school run as well.
Maybe, yeah. Possibly. It's genuinely
This is the thing,
possible.
that like Luton's such a small area. Everyone knows everyone. And things spread like wildfire.
I know, right? Oh my god, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And do you know what the worst thing is? Is not just like when people are gossiping, but it's when a rumor turns into a completely fabricated lie. Like
honestly.
I've had friends tell me things about other people, and it's about a situation where like I was there and I would have witnessed the thing that they're talking about, and it never happened. And it's just like Chinese whispers as it's gone down the chain.
Yeah,
you know, people just eventually they don't understand.
It's just
what the original story was.
It's a very odd place when it does that. Cause you're like, really, that never happened.
Yeah. You've got to be on your toes when you hear.
It makes reporting so difficult here because you're like, I'm trying to get to the truth, and
then
half the time it's like,
I bet nobody wants to talk as well.
You'd be surprised. People do want to talk.
Really?
I've had a lot of people come to me like anonymously, like and speak to me, or like it's taken time, but I've like spoken to them face to face eventually.
Yeah.
There are people here that are willing to talk out about like bad things that are happening and stuff.
Yeah. There
are people, and they do come to me because like if someone talks to me about something, I am not going to reveal who you are. I will happily.
No, that's good. That's good, because that gives people confidence.
The biggest thing for me is I've always said, like, I don't want to ever go back to prison, but you know, if needs must, it's one thing, because you can, like, they can take you to court and you can get done for
not revealing sources.
If it depends, it would have to be a very extreme case, like Official Secrets Act and stuff like that. But I've always said to myself, it's the one time I'm willing to take that and go, because it's my biggest thing as a journalist it's like I will always protect someone. If
your source,
someone's coming to me, especially because like I like doing investigations and stuff. I want to make sure
you want to get the full picture, right?
The full picture.
If you scare someone off, then you're not going to get it.
Yeah, and that's my biggest thing. I will go above and beyond to make sure someone's protected.
I wish that I could do the thing that you do. It sounds so interesting.
It is. I love my job. I hate it at the same time because there's times when you look at stuff and stuff comes out and you're like, this should have been a bigger deal.
Yeah.
And it's not. And you're like, and things are not changing because of it. Like the Cambridge Analytica stuff.
Yeah.
So
what's that?
So when that came out, it was Cambridge Analytica are like a company that essentially they sell data. Okay. So they have data points from various different things from your social media. So they can tell someone exactly what you like, what your buying habits are. They know everything about you because data is the most valuable commodity in the world. You know, money means nothing. Your personal data is the most valuable thing you have.
Yeah, definitely.
And people don't realize it. So this company had all this data and they were selling it to people like there was issues around whether they basically sold this data to people that were swing voters on Brexit.
Oh, okay.
To then show them targeted ads on social media to swing them towards certain ways. And there's a lot of concern about whether that's actually affected politics and whether people would have really voted it if they hadn't got targeted in that way. And it's quite concerning because it does affect democracy. It does,
massively.
But it happened, and then it's just like the company got closed down, they got investigated, and no one's talked about it since. But it still is probably happening.
There's still
people
probably
don't realise it's happening.
Because obviously the data is being collected, right? Like there's no
everything you put on social media.
I assume that any time I touch my phone, someone's watching me.
Oh, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? Like I know that might seem crazy.
No, but it is because like we are the most watched nation in the world because we have the most CC. Like everyone's like, oh, but America's worse and all this, but like they have nowhere near the level of CCTV. Like you can't fart in Luton without someone seeing it on CCTV. And that was a joke.
They probably have seen my face.
They probably have. They probably
sometimes I do little cheeky like I do like a superhero change, right? Into like my regular clothes or like into the superhero clothes. Yeah. I won't tell you how because then people might start to try and like, I won't tell you where either.
Yeah. I don't need to know.
But like I've done it a couple of times and maybe they might have caught me on camera because I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, but like,
I try and look for the cameras, but it's hard.
I think it was a police officer that told me that in Luton once. He was like, but it was like. I think it was a press officer actually that was like, you can't get away with doing anything in Luton. It's on CCTV.
That's crazy.
Because it's just so much and people don't realise how much there is because they're just not paying attention to it. It's just become such a part of life.
Yeah.
But it's so frustrating. But I'm hoping because I'm working on a couple of things at the minute that I can't talk about. So hopefully, who knows?
Hopefully you make some changes.
Hopefully. But it's be really interesting. Like, I'm interested in seeing what happens in the future because I don't think I'll be at the BBC for much longer. I probably will go freelance and
it's really good to have gone there like that. When I saw you done that, I was so proud. I was like, yes, girl from Luton that I actually like. I read your stuff. And, you know what I mean? Like, just then knowing that you was going to do well out of it. I'm really happy and proud for you.
No, thank you.
Yeah, like whatever you do next, I'm a full-on supporter. I love reading your stuff and I want more people to read your stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'm going to work on some stuff. Like I need to start doing my own stuff, like just for me to like put out there because I think there is like a lot of stuff that I would like to be able to write, but it's really difficult when you're working for certain media companies because you're really like restricted.
Yeah.
Because it's like I said, especially like things like the BBC because they're publicly funded, you're not as restricted as much, so it is a little bit easier. But I don't do writing at the BBC. I don't do anything like that. I do the technical stuff for the news channel, which sounds really odd, but that's what I do.
Yeah.
So, but when you're working for like a company that's essentially a corporation, and that's what a lot of media companies are these days. They are. Apart from Channel 4 and BBC, who are public service broadcasters, everything else is essentially about making money. So it's about what gets them the most hits. And if something's not going to get them hits or it's not going to hit with their ethos as well. So if I couldn't write certain things for the Daily Mail because it wouldn't work for them, but, it would probably work for the Guardian. It's about it's really difficult.
It's so weird though, yeah, because like it's clear people are outraged at the moment by media companies for exactly doing that.
Yeah, but
Like people, like the reason why I get told this all the time. The reason why people like me is apparently is because I'm authentic, even though I'm a guy in a mask and a suit. Like you see me warts and all.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And if I make a mistake, like I actually did make a mistake recently, and I'm going to talk about it now. Screw it, I'm going to talk about it now.
Go for it.
I keep meaning to address it, but I just don't know how to address it, right? But I'm going to own this because I fucked up, right? Oh, and I'm not supposed to say the F word, but
it's all right.
Never mind, I'm Deadpool, I can do what I want.
I mean, to be honest, Ryan Reynolds swears a lot in Deadpool.
Yeah, he does.
So, you know.
But then I've got these guys here.
Yeah, I know.
I think they understand that I'm naughty.
You're a person, though, at the end of the day.
If I didn't have these here, oh my God. It would be so great. So great. But like obviously I love to raise a keech, but I could do so much more. But I can't because obviously I don't want to.
You don't want to affect the images of them.
And the kids as well. Like I've got kid fans. I don't want to, start doing inappropriate stuff that then influences them.
Yeah.
And I've got this whole thing to think about. But what the hell was I talking about?
Your mistake.
Oh, my mistake. Oh, God.
It can't be that bad. I've
it's bad.
I've talked about going to prison, so
it's bad.
It's bad
for me. I feel like it's bad because I commented on something that someone made for me, and it was so inappropriate, and I just didn't think about it until a friend pointed it out and was like, "What the flipping hell are you doing?"
I saw that.
What went on the Luton Media post, and I said, "Here come the fat pool people."
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, that's what I said because, and this is what I meant, right? So I can clear it up. Yeah. Luton Media, they took this video of me, and like I've put on quite a bit of weight over the Christmas period, right? And there have been children that come up to me in town and call me Fat Paul. I swear to God.
I can imagine that because children have no filter. So
some kids have come up to me and been like, "You're not real," and I'm like, "No, I am real. No, you're Fat Paul. You're not Deadpool." Yeah, I know.
No, honestly,
it hurts so much because I'm carrying timber this month.
I'm not going to lie, that would be the sort of thing that my child would say. So I can 100% accredit that kids will definitely be saying that to you.
So I hope people can understand that when I made the comment, I said, "Here come the fat pool people,"
yeah,
and I meant that as in people were going to start dissing me for being fat again.
Yeah.
But then I didn't think that I'm saying that on a food bank post. And yeah, exactly. I said that on the food bank post. I deleted the comment because I'm not like as much as I will show all of my warts. Yeah, like that's not funny, really.
Yeah.
When in the context of
what
the food bank, because
yeah.
obviously I'm there raising money. I'm there working for the food bank. That's what I was doing that day. And we was packing stuff, and we were just doing the normal stuff that we do when we're working there. And then they came out, and we done that quick film. And afterwards, I've made that comment, and I just didn't think about it. And then my mate messaged me. He was like, "Do you think that's really appropriate saying that when, like, you're literally at the food bank where people are starving, and you're saying the fat pool people?" And I was like, "Oh man, what have I done?" And then I deleted it, and like I've not addressed it until now. But I feel like I should address it because I made a mistake, and it's good to make mistakes. Yeah,
you're human beings do though, because like it doesn't matter who you are and what you do in life, where you're educated, where you're from, whatever. Human beings all make mistakes. Like that's how we learn from them, and it's not. Knowing you, it's definitely not malicious at all.
Yeah, it was just stupid. I just said something that I thought was funny about me, and because it's true. And you know what? In the new year, because I want to promote like healthy sort of like lifestyles. And I've got this guy Junaid Malik, who I had a podcast. He was the last podcast.
Yeah,
wicked dude. Oh my God! Like so far he's got the highest views for the podcast, and it was a really, really good chat. I recommend anybody to listen to that one.
Yeah,
the guy is so inspiring. He's a personal trainer and bodybuilder. I'll show you this picture of him. It's absolutely insane. Where he's in Egypt and he's standing by the pyramid and he's just like this. Yeah, he looks like an Egyptian god.
Yeah,
He just carved out of marble guy, and
Wow.
he said to me from January, he's going to turn me into the legit superhero that I should be, because I'm too fat right now. I used to be quite good with my exercise and go to the gym, but like this Christmas, I've just turned into a bear, and I'm just like eating to hibernate. Do you know what I mean?
In all fairness, we've had like 2 Christmases that have been really terrible.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we've been stuck indoors, like we haven't been able to see family and stuff. And this is the one year I think everyone can just be like,
just relax.
This is like an actual Christmas, how it should be.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, put a little bit of weight on it.
I don't think it's that bad. That's why I want to talk about it as well, because, you know, there's so much stuff that people just start feeling bad about for themselves.
Oh, no, absolutely.
And weight is such a problem with people. Like, we just really don't talk about it. Like, you know, it's either you don't fat shame, or, you know, like people do fat shame. It's like one or the other. It's not like there's nothing in the middle where like you can sort of take the mick out of yourself for it a bit, but then at the same time recognize that is a health issue, right? Like, if I keep going like the way that I'm going, then I'm just gonna end up being in a bad situation where I'm got diseases coming my way and ill health, and also, my joints start to hurt. Just
because you're skinny, like I've got COPD.
Yeah.
Don't smoke ever. That would be my top tip. Don't smoke. It's really? Not good for you. Yeah. Like, and I'm 33 years old and I've got COPD. You don't have to
sorry for that.
No, it's all right. But you don't have to be like overweight. Like, I am far from it. In fact, I'm probably too underweight, but that's because my stress is all over the shop.
Yeah.
I've never been able to put on weight, but like I have the opposite problem. But then everyone's like, "Oh, you're so skinny and all this, and you must go to the gym all the time." It's like, no, but I actually want to put weight on. Like, I don't want to be like this skinny all the time.
Do you know what?
Really
honestly, stressful. That's exactly how I used to be. Like, say, I don't even know. It's since my last kid, so my 4-year-old. Before her, I couldn't put weight on.
The last child.
Yeah, the last. I don't know. I didn't have her. She didn't come out of me. But for some reason, this affected me, because then as soon as she was born, I can just put on weight so easy now. It's like I can't eat until before then. It's like you could see my ribs. I was so skinny. Like I was like a little twig person. Do you know what I mean? Like everybody always used to mock me for being so skinny, and like when I used to play football, people would call me Bambi because number one, I'm like Bambi on ice, but number two, I've got like little skinny Bambi legs.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. I cannot run for shit. This is the big thing. I can't run. I have like the coordinations of a baby goat. Like, I can't do gym.
Well, one of them baby goats, when you scare them, they go stiff and fall over.
That's just usually me. Honestly, I'm surprised I haven't fallen over on national television. That is what I'm waiting for. It. One day I'm going to trip down those stairs, and it's just going to be when the camera's on them as well, and I'm going to be like a meme on Twitter. Oh, look at this girl falling down the stairs. It's like, yeah, it's me. Obviously, it's me.
All right, let's go back to why journalism?
Why journalism?
Yeah, because you was going to be a midwife, right?
I was going to be a midwife. Yeah. Do you know what's the weirdest thing is? I did my access course because I didn't do well at sixth form college because I had a baby at 19. Also, don't do that. But I had a kid at 19. So when I was at sixth form college, I came out with not great A-levels. So and then obviously I was like stay-at-home mum, and then we decided that it was going to swap, and I was going to go do my access course and go and do midwifery. And I had all this grand plans in my head how I was going to change how it was for women, that women had to get choices and all of this. And I've always been interested in documentaries. I've loved watching them and things like that. And I always loved the news because like I was quite lucky that my parents always watched that and encouraged us to watch news and get into it. So it was weird that like I'm here now. Yeah. But it always like I was always encouraged to read the news and watch the news and everything. Like even my kids do it now. And so I was like had these grand plans. So when I finished my access course, I managed to get all the grades that I needed, despite having a massive marriage breakup in the middle of it. Yeah. And then went to uni and I managed to get a place at Beds, which is like it was really tough. Got there, and then even if the whole situation of going to prison hadn't happened, I don't think I would have done well as being a midwife because it is just like I enjoyed it. Like I loved every moment of it, but I hated it at the same time. It was just so like, this is never going to change, and I don't like how this is, and I'm only one person, and can I do it? And so I was like, it was so disheartening. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Like, you get told one thing in the lectures, and then in practice it doesn't work like that at all. And it's just really like, oh, this is so frustrating.
Yeah.
And then obviously I got sent to prison, and then when I came out, I had to go through the whole process of going to like it's not an NMC board, but it was a university equivalent of it. And they're basically like, yeah, no, you can't continue. You've brought the the profession into disrepute and stuff like that. And I was like, this is, it hit me hard. And then I was like, right, I could be all upset about it, and not do anything with my life, or I could go, and I was like, this is the time. I'm going to go and do journalism. So I went to an open day at Uni of Beds. I was like, this sounds like it's the right thing for me. So I applied. I started doing it, and I realised how much I loved it. And I was like, I should have done this all along, because people always put me off. They were like, you won't make much money out of it. It's quite stressful to get a job, because there is a lot of nepotism in journalism. It's still a very middle class profession. I don't know if you follow Taj.
I know Taj quite well.
Taj
Bassett as well.
And it's still really difficult to get into if you're from like a working class background. So it's really like, it is hard. But I was like, I
don't understand that. I really don't understand. So is it because of gatekeeping then with that? Like, I asked this question actually.
I think it is, because it does become like that, because like, especially at the BBC, you'll see certain people moving up, and you'll know that they've gone to Cambridge and Oxbridge, and then because like it's not Cambridge and Oxbridge for your masters, it's usually City. If you've gone to City for a masters, that's like the pinnacle of places to go. However, City charge like 14 grand a year, and the masters loan's only 11. So you can't really do it unless you've got money to put in towards it. So it's not. That's why I didn't go there, and I went to DMU instead. So it is like, you do see people progressing that have been to these certain universities, and you see certain people like that are in the media now, and they're only there because their dad was a top journalist. And their mum happened to be the Home Secretary. I'm now specifically talking about one very interesting person, but I won't name them. But their mum was Home Secretary, and their dad was a very famous journalist. And you're like, but in reality, would you have got there if your parents were those people? And it is really frustrating, because there's so many talented people that probably, they struggle to get in the industry, or they're stuck in. It means that you're then stuck in local news, and local news, let me tell you, pays a pittance. It's like, it's not livable at all. It's not a livable wage. And then, it's really hard, and you see all these things about, oh, we're really diverse here and things like that. And it's like, well, diversity means nothing. You can be as diverse as you can with race, religion, whatever, but if you're not being diverse with class as well, you're not a diverse team. And that is the reality of the BBC. It's diverse, and really it's great in other areas. This is the thing,
I keep hearing this being repeated more and more. Like, when I've had Bassett Mahmood on the podcast, right, we've talked about this sort of thing, and
because what Rishi Sunak has been,
doesn't make sense.
Rishi Sunak's experience of life as an British Asian, is very different to a British Asian that's from Luton. That has lived this. They can't be compared, because he's been privately educated. His wife would have never married it.
It's just because of the school that he went to and the parents that he has. It's not actually because that, when people talk about it being like the first Asian Prime Minister, right?
It's not on merit.
It's not really, like you say, it's not the same thing as if someone from Luton came up and done that. Now, that would be a totally different story. Or someone like from Bradford, or do you know what I mean?
Anywhere.
Someone from a deprived area where they didn't have that help. Like, they don't have a chance of making it like that far. It's really sad, because that's what everybody wants. You know what I mean? Like, when you think about any sort of story of someone becoming a great person, you want them to kind of start from small beginnings, right? That's actually, like, I've got this ring that I wear like around my chain, right? I won't show it because it's like, a personal sort of thing. I've got this ring, and it says Parvis Sic Magna. Right, I think that's how you say it. I always read it. I never say it. Right, but it means greatness from small beginnings. And I really believe that, like they're all the stories. When you hear of someone like that you really admire, they tend to have come from absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Right. And I just don't get why people are so bothered about hanging on to their positions of power when, by enabling people like that, the world gets so much better. And it's always has done. You know, it's just this greedy kind of mentality that these people have, and they just don't appreciate that you're only on this planet for like 80 years, maybe, if that.
Life is very short.
Very short.
The minute I'm feeling that more than ever.
Gone. Would you not rather leave the world better than what you left it? Like, why would you want to make it worse? And that's what all these people are essentially doing. They're making it worse. And I don't know if they know that they're doing that, or they can't. They're just so focused on themselves that they can't see the big picture of the planet. And
I think it is a lot of, you become a bit like, you are focused on yourself and your family and like the people around you staying in that area, because if you've got loads of money, it's probably really nice to live like that and not have to worry about, are you going to be able to afford the council tax, or can you go shopping this week? They've never had that experience in their lives properly, and I think you don't want to ever experience that, because that is a unknown that you don't want. They have no concept of it, but it probably is in the back of their minds that they never want to go back down, because it's very hard to get back up again.
Yeah.
And I think, it's just like people become very self-absorbed, and that's all they want is to keep, certain people in power. And it's the same with the BBC. It annoys me a little bit because they'll often get like working class presenters on.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, but look, we're showing working class people. And it's like, but if you look at the people who are making the programme and what universities they went on, like, it doesn't matter.
Just because the person
just because Stacey Dooley is on the camera, it doesn't mean that everyone behind the scenes is.
And to be honest with you, it's like, I feel like when people do get to a certain level anyway, they kind of just sell out, and then they stop caring as much about the place that they're from. And, they don't tend to, they might have a charity set up or something.
Yeah.
But their presence within the place they're from is just absolutely minimal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen Stacey. I don't think Stacey's probably been here in a long while.
Maybe not. Maybe she has,
Yeah, we don't know.
You don't know,
but she's done, I mean, I'm not disrespecting her, she's done incredibly well for herself, and she is very talented at her thing.
We're part of the fabric of this town, right?
Yeah.
We're involved. I feel like I've got my finger on the pulse in Luton. I know what's going on. I know who's big. I know what's happening, and I never see her name pop up.
Yeah.
I never see like she's coming to town, because if she was coming to town, it'd be a big flipping deal. If she was attending events here, it'd be a massive deal. Like, and there would be so many people come.
Oh, 100%. Because everyone respects. Like, there was always that joke because I used to work in a pub. I used to work in the Wetherspoons.
Oh yeah.
And when I tell people I was doing journalism, because I had ginger hair, they'd all be like, "Oh, you're the next Stacey Dooley."
Oh yeah.
Because I'm from Luton. I had ginger hair. They were like, "Oh, next Stacey Dooley." I was like, but not really, because I don't want to. I don't know, but
she struck gold. She was very good.
Yeah.
When she first started out, she was very, very good.
She's still, she's still really good. Yeah, she's still really good. But I think people don't realise how much goes on in the background in those programmes as well, and how involved other people are, because there's people like me in the background.
And I guess that there's a lot of pressure being put on the presenter to say certain things and to keep to an agenda, maybe. Or, is that, or
no? I don't. I don't
think the person presenting it have like quite a big.
I don't think so, because I've worked on investigations, and it's more about, if we can't get what we were expecting, that's not the end of the world, because we've still got to make a programme at the end of the day. And we have to do what we have. We can't make stuff up. There is actually, I think there is a lot of level and integrity in investigative journalism, particularly like making documentaries. So there is a real level. Like, I've never seen someone like. You obviously get people that are experts that perhaps are one-sided, yes, admittedly, but, at the end of the day, I would never say I've ever seen anyone and I've worked for a few production companies now that are long established and do big things like Channel 4 dispatches and things like that, and I've never seen anyone do anything like that, because it defeats the object, if you want to...
What I mean, though, is, like, for instance, say, like, with someone like Jeremy Clarkson, all the stuff he said about Meghan recently, and like, I appreciate that the man just kind of tells jokes, and he's quite vulgar with his jokes, and I've always kind of liked him, and so I've always watched Top Gear, and I love the Grand Tour and all that stuff, and His farm show as well
No,
was
that is,
brilliant.
in all fairness,
Absolutely
that is
brilliant.
really good.
But then, yeah, he says the thing, like, what he said about Meghan's just like, it was so horrible.
Yeah, it was another
so
level
horrible.
of like...
Yeah, I really do believe that you can joke about basically anything, yeah? Like one of my friends said one of the most horrible jokes to me the other day, and I was in stitches because it was personal against me, right?
Yeah.
I can't repeat it, but
No, I don't expect
it was really bad. It was really bad. And I knew it was bad and I laughed because it was funny because it was about me as well. So it was kind of made it. If you said it about someone else, I don't know how I would feel, but but it's because, like, you know, there are times when you can cross the line and it's still funny.
Yeah.
But that wasn't. It just
No,
it just felt like you were just bullying this person.
It's
now.
a deliberate attack.
It's just going on too long, man. Just like, you know, I'm kind of sick of just hearing about them two now.
Yeah,
and,
so am I.
I don't care for what they do in their lives or anything. You know, they're just too.
I understand what he did.
Too
what
rich
he did.
people.
Yeah.
That's just who they are to me. They're just too rich people, and I'm glad that they do some good stuff. You know, that's kind of nice. But I don't want to hear what they're doing all the time. What I want to hear is hold my government to account for how badly they've been treating people. Hold yourselves to account, the people who were creating like negative stories just to push things in a certain way.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. I think that there is definitely that happening in the media. You know, that particularly, especially in newspapers, because newspapers have to sell stuff.
Yeah.
So they've got to a point where they're so extreme in their views to keep selling
it's
papers.
Crazy. It's like we're like America now.
Yeah, but
it's like there never used to be. When I was growing up, like, I didn't really think of us as we only had like a red and a blue. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like how in America it is a red and a blue, and then it's just everything is fueled through that. There's no middle ground. There's nobody saying, well, you know, I agree with some things on this side and I agree with some things on this side.
There are some like conservative policies that sometimes I'm like, yeah, that's not too bad. You know, that works.
Makes sense.
It does make sense.
Too much harm.
I'm not like, oh, full on Tory.
Yeah.
I've got to be careful what I say now. I am being not being partial, but then there are sometimes there's Labour policies where I think,
yeah. Exactly. I think you're probably quite like me, where you can see
think about things logically rather than how it affects everyone, as opposed to, is this going to be great for, you know, some people but not for others? It's like, is it going to work for making everyone's lives a bit better?
Yeah, like I'm a bit of a socialist, but then I'm a bit conservative as well. Like, I don't think that you can, like, for instance, just endlessly give money away or give stuff away to people without there being something coming back. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, we've still got to pay taxes at the end of the day.
Still got to do all that
if you want the NHS, you got to pay your taxes to get the NHS to continue to exist. And God, it does an amazing job. Even now, like, fair play to them. They have been through, like, I worked in the L&D and they did some amazing stuff when I was there in like 2015, 2014.
Yeah.
Now they've been through COVID. They must be so tired at this point. They must be so exhausted.
One of my friends was paramedic for a really, really long time, and he's recently quit because he just can't take it anymore.
No, I don't blame him.
He can't take it. He's so upset. Like, you know, it's a job that it's really hard, you know. But
there's been so many attacks from the media as well. We know we're not entirely blameless journalists, because, you know, when you're seeing things like, oh, you know, they're just like repeating what the government's saying when they're saying, oh, it's like an attack on people and stuff. And I'm like, but these people need to afford to live.
Yeah.
And and they need time off as well. They need time to decompress from everything. They see some of the most horrific things that we can't even imagine.
The only way that any of that can happen is by giving them more money so they can hire more staff and pay their staff better. Like, you know, it's. I know that you can't just have open checkbook on things, but when it comes to public health, I think that should be priority number one.
Yeah.
I think if you're thinking about, you know, what's the most important thing, it's got to be the NHS, because without the NHS, you know, we would be living like America with the crazy bills. Like, I saw someone was saying about giving birth over there and how much it is, and it's like tens of thousands of pounds in debt.
I would have no kids.
I don't understand. Like, how are people having children over there?
No, I don't understand it because it is horrific.
I'm so sorry. I've got an eyelash problem. This happens all the time. It's the worst.
Yeah, but I can imagine they're like.
Yeah, the eyelashes
so
are
close to your
I've
face,
got really long eyelashes as well. They get pushed into my eyeballs all the time.
Oh.
Yeah, it hurts so much. I've got super sensitive eyes, right? Like, if I stare into someone's eyes too long, I start crying. I know, it's so pathetic. Like, and it's not like I'm upset. It's just like my eyes start to strain, and then they hurt, and like.
Yeah, honestly, I'm the fidgetiest person. I've probably like been like this the whole time because I'm so fidgety.
As long as you haven't been doing what Hanan done. Sorry to have a go at you again, Hanan. I do it on pretty much every podcast. But on Hanan's podcast, I think that was number 2. No, was it number 2? No, it was number 3. Hanan was on 3.
Yeah.
He was going like this on the mic a lot, and because of that, we lost basically all his sound.
No, literally, I know not to move too much.
Yeah. You're good enough with that. You understand with that.
Yeah, no, it's the only good thing I've done. Don't.
All right. Well, let me ask you. Like, what do you want to do like onwards in the future? Or can you not talk?
No, I can. So I'm working on some stuff at the minute that I can't talk about, but in the future, I want to be working for like doing dispatches, panorama, like so long form documentaries, unreported world. I want to be a producer director, but I would like to present as well because I think like I've always had a dream of just having one documentary that I presented. That would be like the ultimate goal, just to know that I have presented one documentary in my life. I'd be that's it, I've done it.
Do you want to do on me? Not on me, but on Luton.
I'll do one with let's do one with Luton.
Do you want to do one like where, I'm not saying this so I get my own documentary.
No, it's fine.
I honestly don't care for stuff like that, right? But like I really want to. Like, I've got all these ideas of how I want to do stuff, right, and how I want to promote Luton as a positive place. But then I've never worked in the industry at all. Yeah, just bounce ideas off and stuff, and then like even if like I just give you what my idea is, and then you can just make whatever you want out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm down for that.
Because I guarantee you, there's going to be some overlap on what you already think.
Yeah, it's so
100%.
hard. Like there is stuff in the pipipeline I know that is like Luton related that I can't like. I'm not working on.
I'm so excited.
There is stuff working, and obviously, I know it's like a really bad indulgence, but I do love 24 hours police in custody. I know it's so bad, and I shouldn't love it because it is about the bad things in this town. But at the same time, sometimes you see people and you're like, I know you as well.
Yeah, I know. It's so bad, isn't it?
It's really hard because you're like, I shouldn't feel like this. But
do you know what? The only time that I've ever watched that show is when I go to Ireland when I'm with my mate because he loves it. He loves it. And he's been to Luton once and he loved it. I took him to the match last year, the Huddersfield at home in the playoffs. When we drew 1-1 and we didn't get into the Prem obviously because when we went out to Huddersfield we lost. But he got to come for that and that was his experience in Luton. He had the best time.
Oh no, in all fairness, like the first of a Luton match I ever went to in my life was a Luton match. My sister fell asleep in it. I don't know how. She fell asleep at a football match. Now she goes to football more than I do, but that's because she's quite lucky. I think her boss owns like a box at Chelsea or pays for a box at Chelsea. But
that's cool. That's cool.
In all fairness, she has a really high power job. She's done incredibly well for herself. She's like incredibly talented at what she does, and she's really talented. And I have a lot of respect for her because I couldn't do like she does finance and she's like really good at maths. I can do half the things she does. So I have an incredible amount of respect for her in that respect because she is like really respected in like what she does in her field and well known.
That's cool. That's cool.
Really good to see.
Yeah. So tell me, let me think. What do I want to know about you? I had all these questions lined up.
Yeah, no, I had all these things I was going to say, and then it's just like.
Do you know what? It's like I do this on purpose. Yeah, like I spend the morning before I do a podcast with someone, just like really loosely reading about them. I don't like to. I don't want to have too much because I want to kind of learn as we talk, right? Because then like my mind just starts working
and thinking of things to say.
Honestly, I can't prepare.
No.
If I prepare things, it goes completely to shit. Like I've done it before. Like where I tried. So dumb. So when I dance in town, right?
Yeah.
And the first time I This is so stupid and embarrassing.
Did you nearly fall in your arms?
No. I prepared a dance routine.
Yeah.
Right? An actual, like, I practiced at home. Oh, my God.
Sorry, I can imagine your kids mick out you for this.
Yeah, my daughters think I can't dance. They say I dance like an old man. But I don't care because I love dancing.
Yeah.
I don't care.
If you enjoy it, that's what you enjoy doing.
If you know, whenever I'm dancing in town, I like to do that in front of people because I know it's not 100% great. Yeah. I've got a bit of rhythm, I think.
I have none, so you're being much better than me, don't worry.
No, but like dancing is so liberating and it just makes you feel so good. And it's like, after I've been in town, I've danced for like 2 or 3 hours, right, which is flipping hard under this mask.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, my mental health just is improved for days. It's just such a good thing. But yeah, so like the first time I prepared this dance routine and I just, oh my God, I was just all over the place and like I just couldn't do it and I had no room. Everything was out of time. People were mocking me and like this was before anybody knew who I was.
Yeah,
this
what
was
you were
last
doing.
Christmas, so nobody even people were like, who the hell is this guy with
dressed up as Deadpool dancing in the middle of town?
Like, what the hell is going on?
Let's be honest, it's probably not the weirdest thing that's been in Luton.
Yeah, but then not only that, I was dancing badly, so they must have thought like
is he all right?
Yeah, in it. Like, should we call the police? But then after that, and because my wife walked past and she saw me dancing, she was like, I am almost about to divorce you. How bad this is. No, because it was quite bad. But yeah, so I decided from that point that everything I do is going to be just unscripted. Yeah. One take, one shot, that's it. I'll just say whatever I say. I trip up on my words. I don't care. If I fall on my face dancing in town because I've just done a move I've never done before, then it's part of the gag. Do you know what I mean?
But it's also, I think it probably like gets people more interested because you are yourself and you're quite authentic. And I think if you overthink it, sometimes you then start overthinking. Oh, I could have done this better. And it's like, but if you're just doing what you do and what you love, then that's all that matters.
I think that's what people want to see, right? They want to see someone doing what they love. Like, that's what I want to see. It makes me so happy when I see someone who's so, like, when you're talking about working at the BBC and being involved in I just see you light up.
Honestly.
I love seeing that in people. It's so beautiful. Like, and, what I want to do with what I'm doing is, like, I feel like, when we're kids, you're taught all these things throughout your life, and they all turn out to be true as you get older. You start finding out every single thing you got taught as a kid. Like when people say, oh, when I was your age, and you just kind of turn off.
You're like, oh,
but then you remember when you're older and you're like, oh man, he was right. Like I should have actually listened to that guy. And one of them is just be yourself, Like everybody always says, just be yourself, and like, nobody is ever just themselves. Like we have our in our house person and we have our outside the house person, right?
I don't know, actually. I'm probably the same miserable person most of the time.
You reckon? That's good. You're like me then. Yeah. Because like, I've actively made the choice that, like, seriously, with the mask on, without it, this is literally the same guy.
Person,
like I don't, people someone said to me before, like, I love the character that you put on. And I was like,
this is
you joking? Like, hold on, like, what are you trying to say about?
I embarrass my kids as much at home as I do right now.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I was like, when you say the character, are you meaning like, what do you think about the character? And they're like, no, just because it's goofy and stupid. And I was like, oh man, like that's what you think of me. I'm goofy and stupid, but do you know what? You're probably right. So. So yeah,
it's good to be like I think it's probably why you've become so popular in Luton, because you are just yourself and you are doing really amazing things for the town as well. And I think that's what makes people connect with you more. I think if you were like this big different thing, it wouldn't work as well. And I think that's why you have become.
Do you know what someone said to me? I've got to start putting on a Canadian accent and be like Ryan Reynolds. I was like, no way. Number one, I couldn't keep it going and I would drop too many words and just wouldn't be good enough anyway. Yeah. But then number two, like everybody that wants me to be Ryan Reynolds under this mask, I don't understand why. He's just an actor. Yeah. He's just an actor.
He owns Wrexham as well.
Yeah, he's a cool person. He's a very, very cool person. Yeah. But ultimately, he's just an actor and he ain't in this town helping you. So don't be so bothered about him. Do you know what I mean? I always say to people, like, you know, I've met famous people, and they're just the same as us.
Yeah,
like, there's
they
just
are.
no difference.
I went to school with Emily Atack. She is the loveliest person. Like, what she is on TV, the funny person, that is her. She is really, like, she's a really lovable, funny person.
Yeah, she seems.
She's not really, like, I think that people have, like, this misconception that she'd be really snobby and stuff, but she's not. She's really, like I can't actually talk highly about her enough. She is really lovely.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, you know, people. I think, I don't know why we do it, but as soon as someone starts getting, like, really famous, it's like we don't just.
We think they're like,
we raise them up onto a pedestal.
Yeah.
They don't do it themselves. Yeah, that's what, and people get annoyed that they're up on the pedestal, that they put that person on.
That they've been put up here.
Yeah, like you talk about them all the time or whatever. Then, like, you know, obviously that's where they're going to be. They're going to be on a pedestal. Like, and it's kind of like the whole thing with Harry and Meghan. Like, people talk about them so much that then people get annoyed that they're being talked about. But then because people are talking about them, that's all people want to talk about.
And then Netflix make a show about it. You know, it's if people didn't care as much, then, you know, they wouldn't have this Netflix show. They wouldn't have a podcast. They wouldn't have whatever. Yeah. Because, you know, media companies always go for what's the most popular thing at that minute. Because, you know, ultimately everything is about making money.
Yeah.
You know, you can put it however you like. You can sugarcoat it. It's not. It's about making money. And, you know, things like Netflix particularly, they'll go for something that's going to be like the next big hit, that's going to get them, you know, how much press has it got them from this one little thing?
Exactly.
It's got them so much press. And probably getting people to watch it as well. You know, it's probably not as pop as they thought it would be, because, you know, Wednesday's great. Let's talk about that. Wednesday's much better.
I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen it.
You need
to
watch
I
it.
love the Addams Family.
See, I like going to Comic-Con, so...
Oh my God, I love Comic-Con. It's the best thing in the world.
So my next Comic-Con, because I did Jigsaw last time, because that is my thing. I like to go as Jigsaw. But Wednesday is the next one, because I've got, like...
What Comic-Con do you go to?
The London one in...
MCM?
MCM.
That's my Comic-Con. I go every year.
Right, well,
I love
I'll see you at the next one.
Okay, well, you won't, because I don't go like this.
Oh.
No, I go with something else.
Well, you'll see me.
Because
you'll see me dressed as Wednesday.
Oh my God, I'll be looking out for... Do you go on Saturdays?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, because
it's the best time, isn't it? I love it so much.
Honestly.
Like, what was the first one you went to? How long ago?
It was a few years ago, because I haven't, like, we went to, like, this... Okay, I'm really... making myself sound a bit weird now. I'm a massive Harry Potter fan.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Loads of people. I love Harry Potter,
so we went to, me and my best mate, because we're massive Harry Potter fans, we went to like, this convention in Manchester just for Harry Potter. It was really good.
Yeah.
But then I think it was like the one after that, we were like, we need to go to Comic-Con now, because we've really enjoyed this, and we should go to Comic-Con because it would be great. Yeah. And then we went and we were like, oh my God, this is amazing.
It's mind-blowing good, isn't it?
It's like, so good.
The first time that I went was in 2015, I think.
Yeah.
And but previous to that, I've always been a massive nerd. Like, I love comic books.
Yeah.
And, I never really showed it to people, because when we were kids, like,
it wasn't the thing.
If I said I like comic books and I've got a stack of them as high as me in my house, I got beaten the pulp out of every day at school. Do you know what I mean? There's no way that I was ever telling anybody that, or like, or my music choices. I just wouldn't tell people, because it was just dangerous territory.
High school when we were there was very dangerous.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was dangerous. But like, when I went to Comic-Con, it's like, and I saw everybody dress up. I didn't go dress up first year. Yeah. And then I saw everybody. I was like, oh my God. And I talked to people. I was like, these are my people. Yeah. Like, I didn't realise there was so many of them.
There is so many.
Because there's not in school. Well, there wasn't when...
They probably just didn't want to admit it, but I feel like now it's become so much more socially acceptable. Like, for the kids these days, it's so much easier. Yeah. Like, it's not at the same time, because they have social media, which puts pressure on them in a different way. But I think it's a lot easier to be your authentic self these days. A little bit than it was when we were at school, because now, even now as adults, it was like moving into adult, it was like hard still to be your authentic self. But I think nowadays it's become so like okay and acceptable thing to be, that it's, or maybe we've just stopped caring. I'm not sure which one of the two it is.
I think it's part of that.
Because I think the older you get, you stop caring about what other people think as much. But like, it's nice to just be, like, I think people are more open to, like, because I'm not a big comic book fan, but I am a big like Halloween fan. Like, because I was born in October, so Halloween is I'm not a Christmas person. I don't like, particularly this year, I'm not a Christmas Christmas is not happening for me.
Oh, really?
Mentally. No, I'm not a Christmas person at all,
fair
but
enough.
like obviously because my dad died and it's the first one without him, I'm just like, this year I'm only doing it for the kids. Like if I didn't have kids,
of course.
mate, I would not even be in this country. I'd be off somewhere enjoying myself where there's no Christmas whatsoever.
I totally understand.
No, it's just not. I'm not a Christmas person at all. But Halloween is my thing, so I just love like.
You're like my son. My son is all about Halloween.
Yeah, dressing up as Jigsaw.
Yeah, I love that. I love that dressing up as Jigsaw.
And I actually, because I did
Have
that.
You got a trike?
Yeah, no, I used the little beetle bug bikes for kids. Yeah, I didn't have a trike, so I used the beetle bug bike. I went around on my child's beetle bug bike.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
So I did that when I was working at Wetherspoons actually for one Halloween, but I went around like on the little bike, like through the pub.
That's so creepy.
It was brilliant. It made me so happy. But yeah, no, I think now it's become so much more acceptable to just be who you are, and people don't care anymore.
Yeah, I know. Definitely. I mean, like that's what I want to promote as well. You know, that's why I go out dressed like this. This is wild, man. Like people in Luton aren't used to this.
No, they aren't.
You know, I literally like the best thing about what I do is like there's always people that just haven't heard of me. Yeah, which is great. I love that. I want more. I know that as time goes on, there's going to be fewer of them.
Well, because I literally was speaking to someone from Sheffield the other day, and he was like, "I've seen this guy."
No way.
I was explaining to him.
You're joking.
No, I was explaining. He went to uni with me, and I was like, "Oh, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to go and be on Luton Deadpool's podcast." He was like, "I've seen him." And I was like, no. I was like, how have you seen? Because he hasn't lived in Luton for about 2 years. So I was like, you've not been around while you've been like, doing it. But he was like, I've seen him. I know who he is. And I was like,
that's crazy.
So there's people in Sheffield who know you.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's made your day a little bit.
I'm beaming. I'm beaming. That's crazy. Now, obviously, like, let me just say this. Yeah. When I started doing this, you've got to understand, I am not doing this for fame. Otherwise, I'll take the mask off. Yeah, like if I wanted fame, I'll take the mask off.
Yeah, everyone would know who you were.
Exactly. Like, and I know there are people that do know, and luckily they're not like exposing it. And I really hope they keep it to their chest because it's really important to me that I stay anonymous.
Yeah.
With the whole fame thing, like, it's really hard to like process it. I don't know how I feel about it. Like when people like today, mad. Oh my god, this guy come up to me. Yeah, I was talking to the mall star. This guy come up to me. He was like, "Oh my god, it's Luton's Deadpool! I can't believe it. I follow you on Facebook." And he was so excited. And he was a full-grown man.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't believe that I'd like done that for someone. Like this just doesn't make sense. Yeah. But like, I want this to get super big. I do want it to be like the world knows who Luton's Deadpool is. Yeah,
but it's important because you're doing good stuff.
It's not about me.
It's the message.
It's because what you've said in this podcast is so true. It's all about money. I'm trying to show people no, it ain't.
Yeah.
Because I don't do this for money.
Yeah.
I don't get paid for this.
No.
I'm getting people. People are now helping me to fund the expenses of being this. But that is it. Like, I will not profit from being Deadpool. And I promise, I make that promise to everybody, no matter what, till the day that I die. I can't die, but you know.
Someone will carry it on afterwards, don't worry.
I hope so. That's why I do it as well, because there should always be a Luton's Deadpool forever and ever and ever and ever. Because
so this is the main thing, is like, I don't think you've ever made it about, it's always been, whenever I'm seeing stuff that you're doing, it's always about what charity you're doing it for and why you're doing it, and not about, oh, I'm doing this for me. It's always about, you're putting that first and foremost, and that's like the biggest thing for me. It's like, I always see that and I'm like, this guy wants to do good.
I'm glad you see that.
This guy genuinely just wants to do.
The podcast is called Luton's Deadpool Words, but that isn't, it's not about me, it's about you today. It's about, I want you to be the person who it's about. Like my job is to shine a spotlight on people who are insanely cool, who are super positive and want to do good for the world. And you're one of them people, and that's why I wanted you on the show today. Because, you know, and I'm really sorry that like this Christmas period isn't the best thing for you, right? And I totally understand.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna. I'm sort of going off the track a bit here, but like, I don't want you to give up on Christmas. Yeah,
I'm not giving up because
no, but some people, I totally understand it. Because I've talked to people who lose people, especially like around the Christmas time as well, and it completely changes Christmas, right? And I just want you to know that it's okay to grieve and to feel sad for it, but at the same time, like, you know, Christmas can still be special, and it can mean something different each year. You know what I mean?
This is like the first, like I'm talking something very personal, but this is the first year I've had all my kids together on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Like I haven't had that before because like of the way our me and my ex-husband's like thing has worked out. So we've never, like I've never had all three kids on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So like this is the first year, and I'm really excited for that. So there is elements of Christmas that I'm excited for, and seeing like some of their presents that I've got like a new Switch game. Actually, I can reveal it because this will go out. They won't see this until afterwards. They've opened it, so I've got to like Just Dance.
I'll do you a favour. Yeah? I'll release this episode. You can release, I'll do it tomorrow. So then, by the time they've opened their gifts, I wouldn't have ruined it.
No, that's fine. But
if they was even watching this, which is probably going to be a no.
Yeah, they'll probably get about bored halfway through. Mum talking about herself.
Do you reckon they'll watch you talking? Do you reckon
they do? Do you know what? They actually like watching the news when they know I'm at work.
Well, hello, kids. Hello, if you are watching. Your mum's awesome.
But they do like watching the news, and they like watching like programs that they know I've been involved in because they know like it's so cool. It's so cool. Do you like sometimes when you see your name next to an article, do you like pinch yourself? Honestly,
like, oh my God.
When that podcast, so I worked on a podcast recently. It sounds like really weird because it's not something I'm really into, but it was on GTA, so Grand Theft Auto.
No way.
Yes.
You was on a GTA podcast?
I wasn't speaking on it, but I did work on it, so I liked it. It's like about the whole history of GTA.
Oh my God, I want to listen to this.
I will send it to you after.
Please do. Yeah. I'm a biggest GTA fan. I love it.
But it's about like the history of like where the company started and all the way through, basically. And I had to, my job was really weird in it. I had to find people that worked for Rockstar in a certain period of time. I managed to find a few people for them. But I'm like hearing my name at the end of that. It's like wow, this is actually something I've worked on. I'm like,
on GTA. Oh my God, I'm literally playing Vice City at the moment. I love it so much.
Honestly, I've had to watch the credits a lot of times recently. But it's
please send that to me. I'd love to watch that. Yeah.
But honestly, it's just like hearing your name or seeing it is like, oh my God, this is actually like. I can't wait for the next one to come out. It's still in production, but once it's done, honestly, I'm so excited because like just to know that I've been a part of that and like it's just incredible, and it's such a amazing feeling like when you do it, particularly like documentaries because they're so like drawn out. Like some stuff I've been working on has been like going on for like a year. Yeah, and it's so long and drawn out, but just knowing at the end when it comes out, like you'll see it and you'll be like, oh my God, I did so much of that, and like this is all like it makes me so happy. Like this is what I really genuinely like. Even when I'm reading articles that have like I've been working on for ages and I published them finally when I was at Beds Live, and it's like, oh my God, it doesn't have to get great numbers, but just knowing that I've done that and made someone's life a little bit better, that makes me happy.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Seriously, it's so cool.
Honestly.
And do you know what? I think the best part of your story is that it looked really hopeless at one point.
Yeah. I mean...
Not to look down on it or anything, but,
it did.
Looking back at when you was arrested, from there, for most people, your life is done. You are finished. But, do you know what I mean? And you didn't let that happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always quite a determined person anyway. I'm quite, if I want something, I do get
There's people out there now,
honestly.
Who this is why you're here, because, you know, you're the epitome of don't give up.
And no matter how bad things can be, like, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, I never thought that, you know, I only graduated last year and I never thought I'd be working for the BBC.
I know, that's so crazy. Like, and it's so crazy. That's what hard work and determination gets you, right?
And like, you know, this time, so it was 2017. So this time, 5 years ago? Yeah. This time at Christmas, I was in prison.
Oh my God.
No, it wasn't 2017, so 6 years ago. This time 6 years ago, I was in prison. So you think about it, that's insane.
That's actually crazy.
That's insane. 5 or 7 years. Is it 6 or 7? Oh my God, I can't even think.
Yeah, it's 5 years. 2017 is 5 years ago.
No, it wasn't 2017. Oh, that's when I started uni. So it would have been it must have been
2016.
2015 going into 2016,
Yeah.
something like that. I can't remember. It's been like life has just been like 100 miles an hour since then. Like since I came out, I was like, I'm not going to be. It's very, especially with the way the system's designed at the minute, it's very easy for it to be a revolving door and to just end up into that lifestyle. And I'm not having it like saying anything bad about people that happens to, because it is, the system is designed that way. And I feel so sorry for people who desperately want to get out. Like I was so lucky that I had, you know, the support of my parents, and you know, I had somewhere to go afterwards. Like I could go, like people come out and they're homeless, and you know, what do you expect them to do but commit crime again? Because if they've got no home to live in, you know, they've got nowhere. How do you expect them to improve their life? And so, you know, the system is very set up against people that are in prison if they haven't got that support there. Outside.
And then not only that, like mental health support is basically non-existent as well.
It is really hard in there. Like even to survive in there, you have to be quite strong mentally. Like we were talking yesterday about how I go on holiday on my own. They were like, oh, I can't even go like out by myself for like, you know, this, that, and other. But I'm like, but when you've been in that sort of place and you've had to be on your own for long periods of time, you suddenly realise like how all right you are with your own company. And I think it's like a really important I think it's a really important process to go through in your life anyway, is to be all right in your own company. Because if you can't be all right on your own, you're never going to be all right around other people as well.
So true.
So I think like also I find it sort of like you can meet so many interesting people, and I like going on holiday on my own because then I don't have to.
I've done that myself. Like I tend to, and you know, my wife hates me for it. I always go to Ireland to go and see my friend.
Yeah, but
and it's like obviously I'm with him, but then at the same time just getting away from like my existence, and you know, doing the like I'm kind of by myself in many respects, and I've been away like I like La Palma. Oh my god!
I'm going to Bosnia in January, which I'm really excited for because I've never been, and I'm really I'm hoping to go to Srebrenica because not a lot of people know about Bosnia, and like, a lot of the Balkans they kind of get like a bit confusing. But obviously there was a massive war and genocide in like the
I've heard
90s.
about this.
And Srebrenica is where it happened, basically. So I do want to kind of go and have like a look around there and just see, because like there's been so much work done. A lot of it's University of Bedfordshire have been involved in as well. Like,
oh really?
They have like an event that they do every year called like Member in Srebrenica and stuff like that. But it's there's like the fact that they've gone to like spent the last 20, 30 years identifying every single body that they found there and making sure that everyone, like I think they've only got a few hundred left that they need to identify, but the fact that they've gone through that process over decades to give everyone their names back, no matter who they were. And it's like, I think that's like, it's going to be very sobering, but at the same time it's quite special that so many people have gone to so much effort to give people dignity, even in like the most horrific death.
That's what everybody deserves, right? Definitely. That's horrible.
But I think like,
is that what you're drawn to? Is places like that are kind of a bit odd and not typical?
I went on holiday to Kosovo recently, which is like people will be like.
Not most people will be like, why are you going there?
But honestly, it's such a beautiful place. It's so much better to drive in than Albania. I hate driving out Albania, honestly. But it's such a beautiful place, and people just don't realise. They discount these places because they're like, I think people have given a perception in the media, particularly at the minute. Even our government has given like a really bad rep to Albanians and said that they're all criminals.
Definitely. That's what I was literally just going to say. That
they've given them such a bad rep. Even like the Home Secretary has said some really like nasty things in Parliament. You're like, this is not all Albanian people though, because if it was someone saying that about all people that are from your country of origin, you'd be very, very disappointed, very hurt by it. And but you go there and there's like no crime, and like it's like I felt safe walking the streets at like 10 o'clock at night in the dark on my own. I felt I wouldn't always feel safe like in London doing that.
Or even in Luton.
Even in Luton sometimes you couldn't do that, and it's like, but I could do that knowing full well that no one's going to do anything to me, and if there is, like the men there are very like, they will always jump to defend people, women, even if they're not like related to them in any way, because it's like, it's just a respect thing. It's like you that's what it's very chauvinistic in a slight way, but you know, if needs be, like that is what it is. But it's just I like these little quirky places that people don't go to. It's nice as well because I'm not like a big like that's one thing that drives me mad about London is like the tourists all the time.
Yeah,
I can't deal with tourists.
Yeah,
it's beautiful about Luton.
Yeah, no, that's actually, you're right. It's one of the great things because we do have the airport, but it's not a tourist attraction.
It's not a tourist attraction at all. People usually make the joke of the airport's the best thing.
Yeah, I know. I hate it. Whenever
it drives me mad.
Whenever this is, you know, it's actually so funny. I said to because like someone, it was like one of the last people that said that to me. Where I was like, they said, "Oh, you're from Luton," and I was like, "Yeah." It was like, "Oh, the place with the airport."
Oh my god!
Every goddamn time.
Yes, I live in the airport.
One day it'll be the place with the superhero.
The Deadpool.
Could you imagine how cool would that be?
That would be cool.
I literally want to get a Hollywood star, made and put in the ground somewhere in Luton.
I think we should do that for like,
you know, like where I do my collecting.
Yeah.
Outside Primark, just get a Hollywood star with my handprint.
We should do that for a few people because there are a few people in Luton.
Yeah, we should definitely.
I think
they've done a good thing with the mural. You see the mural.
Yes, I do remember that.
With the big, it's got like all the people's pictures on, and I think it's from during like COVID. I think me and my group are on there somewhere. Like when we was doing our collecting before, when I had like I think I might even have been Wolverine then. I'm not sure. Yeah, I was Wolverine at one point. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I dropped that because it was a morph suit, like
that is not.
And I have such a big belly, like in them. There's pictures of me like that, and you can just see the jiggle.
Yeah, it's not just that as well. Like that's a hot. Like it's probably quite hot in that, but I can
no, that was amazing.
Was it a lot better?
Yeah, because I just put shorts on and a t-shirt, and then I'll put the morph suit on. And it's so breathable because it's like spandex basically. Whereas this is suede and leather, and like it doesn't matter what the weather is, it's boiling hot in here all the time.
I mean, probably that's been great for the fuel crisis. And just
I just put the suit on and sit in my house and I'm fine. Yeah, no. As soon as I'm in my house, I take this thing off because it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's like cool though. Like I when I used to go to Comic-Cons, this is kind of why I liked Deadpool in the first place for the costume. Because I would go to Comic-Cons, I'd be like, man, that is the coolest costume.
It is.
Out of any of the ones that I've ever seen. That's what I wanted to own. And then as time went on, like I started like getting bits and then making bits, and then here it is.
Here it is.
Yeah, I know.
I love the Christmas outfit though. That is perfection.
Oh well, you watch. Next year, I've got a brand new suit coming. I've got a bit of a plan with suits as well. I can't actually say. No, I'm not gonna say. But I've got a new suit coming. I can't say about that.
Ooh, okay.
I've got a brand new suit coming, and it's going to be made out of like bike leather, and it's going to be lined with like some cool stuff.
Okay.
Again, I can't really talk about, but I'm going to have a brand new suit, and
that is exciting.
I'm even planning. I'll tell you this: I've got a way of making the eyes blink. Yeah, and like being able to like make expressions.
But then again, having been to Comic-Con, people don't realise the effort people can go into making these costumes.
But here's the problem though. What I face is like every costume that you do, it's not meant to be worn for as long as what I wear.
No.
Right. So like to do the eye blinking thing, I have to stick things to my face and do loads of stuff. And like it would be fine if it was for like an hour, right? But I'm in it for like 8 hours sometimes.
Yeah.
And, like I'll take the mask off and I've lost so much skin on my face. It's just red. It's just bright red.
Someone get you a good moisturiser.
Oh, trust me, me and my missus do face masks.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine.
Oh, everybody do face masks. They're amazing.
No, honestly, they are good for you.
They are amazing. Men are so scared of it.
Korean skincare is...
Korean skincare?
You need to get onto Korean skincare.
What is this?
Korean skincare is like phenomenal.
Because they have the best skin, right?
They have amazing skin.
They're so peachy and like they're
honestly,
they're lovely.
It's so good.
I'm gonna have to look at this.
Honestly, have a look into it. Korean skincare, like Hoika, I think they are. I can't pronounce it properly. And Cosrx, they're really good. They're very moisturising as well. It'll be perfect for you if you get dry skin from the mask.
Oh my god, it's so bad. I literally can't. I take it off and it's just like horrible. And, I'll tell you something that happened today actually, because it's really funny. Because I get some women that are like a bit weird about me.
I can imagine.
I don't know what I really don't understand.
I think it's something
It's the mystery, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the mystery, right?
Because they don't know who you are.
They don't know
you could be their neighbour and they wouldn't
exactly. I could be like a really hideous man that nobody would want to be around. I mean,
isn't that the whole point of Deadpool though?
I mean, he is.
The whole point is like under the suit.
I don't ever allude to what I look like though, because I like people to imagine. You can imagine me looking like Ryan Reynolds, or you can imagine me looking like Danny DeVito. You know what I mean? I really don't mind which way you go.
You're too tall for Danny DeVito.
Yeah, but yeah. So this lady come up to me. Oh, it was so funny. So she came up to me and she was quite nutty. I would say is the best word. She was a bit.
Luton has a
bit out there, She was a little bit different to your everyday person. She come up to me, we was talking for a while, and the whole time the conversation was about how mad she is, right? And she was leading it, telling me how mad she is, and but she gave me money for the bucket, and she was really friendly, and I kept saying to her, but it's not about you being nutty, like that's actually a really cool part of you. I really appreciate that part. Blah blah. Conversations going like this, then out of nowhere, she says, "Can't believe I'm saying this. Should I say it? Yeah, fuck it. Yeah. She said, "I haven't had sex ever in my life, right?" And I was like,
"Okay, hi."
All right, okay. And then I start walking backwards, and then she walks towards me and she grabs me and she goes, "We could be lovers, And I was like, I was done. I was like, "Yep, well, I hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year." I turned around, I was like, "Oh man, what has just happened? Oh, please tell me she's gone away now. She's not going to come and grab me." Or because I've been sexually assaulted multiple times in this job. Oh my God, you would not believe.
That's really bad,
you would not believe. If I was a woman, people would be arrested.
No, but that's the thing. It should be that way though. That women should be like, because it's horrible when, like, I've worked in pubs and it is really horrible when you get sexually assaulted. It's really horrible. But to do that just because you're a man doesn't mean that you should be, it's all right to come up and grab your bum or whatever, because I'm guessing that's happened a lot.
That's essentially what it is. People taking pictures and they like my bum, so they give me a little grab.
No, honestly, it makes me feel a bit sick because it's like, that's still like, men still have a right
to... The worst ones were when I used to work in a bar, right? I used to work in a bar in Birmingham, and I was like one of the main barmen behind. What?
Is it
moving?
It took a dive slightly.
Oh, for God's sake! I
literally just heard it
go. Oh wait. Yep, that's it, isn't it? That's it. It's not gonna bloody let me anymore.
Hang on. Right.
That's completely broken.
Put it down. How is it?
Terrible. But it's going to make for good comedy. Right. So, I used to work in this bar in Birmingham. How long are we on, actually?
I was going to say, it has got to be at 8.
Oh, my God.
Is it nearly 3 o'clock or is it just me?
Is that 2 hours? Have we been doing this for almost 2 hours?
Hang on, I have to look at... Yeah, we have.
Oh, my God. I'm in so much trouble. I was supposed to be done with this by an hour.
Yeah, I told my kids that.
Oh no. Okay, I'll finish this story and then we'll wrap it up. I'm such an idiot. But so I used to work in this bar in Birmingham, and like when they would have hen do's and stuff, I would have to take champagne out on a tray to them. And as soon as I would get around, like the older women especially, start like getting little comments, and then it gets slightly more lewd and worse, and then before you know it, people are literally grabbing me. Well, there we go. Oh, and this has now changed. Now it's on me and upside down. Right, okay. So, you know what? I'm just going to sit like this. I think we're going to have to call it a day.
I think we are. I think the tripod's had enough at this point.
It has. It's like, shut up, stop talking, go home.
Oh,
your wife is fuming, Deadpool. Stop it.
I'm so sorry. I'm just apologising to your wife now. It is my fault entirely. I've had the chat way too long.
Right, anyways, it's been really fun. Thank you very much, Laura.
Thank you for having me.
And I love you, Newton. Bye.
Love you too.